What's up, you should have been aborted people of YouTube. Today I want to talk to you guys about pro-life and about abortion and how things kind of changed around in terms of the US and the legal system and how they view this topic. Now, me being me, I'm not going to hold back. I really don't give a fuck. I'm going to tell you guys exactly what I think. First of all, I've told women that I've just met, like, damn, I want you to have my abortion. I thought that shit was fucking funny. And a lot of them, the shock look, they end up laughing too. But it's not a laughing matter, is it? So first I'm gonna tell you guys my opinion on why things changed. And check out the moon, check out these purple lights. That's dope, right? The moon and shit. So I'm gonna tell you guys why I believe government kind of reversed their standing on abortion. Now, population collapse is a reality. It's a problem that's affecting the world. The United States has been gifted enough that so many people want to come here from other countries that we've had the ability, like if our workforce, we needed more people, we can just take more immigrants through the legal means, right? Like we'll take a certain amount of people from this country, a certain amount of people from that country, and give them citizenship in the right amount of time, and therefore keep our population at a consistency where population collapse isn't really affecting us like it's affecting Japan, like how it's affecting South Korea, how it's affecting China now, and so many other countries, right? It's gonna start affecting them. If you don't know what population collapse is, it's where every couple does not have two babies, right? So every generation gets less and less, or becomes too, like it becomes low enough where you can't sustain the country, right? Because you gotta look in terms of 300 million people in this country, right? So if the next generation decides to have, you know, one child a couple, well, that next generation's workforce is cut down by 50%. Now, I think this might be the contributing factor on why they reversed their policy on allowing abortion nationwide, right? It was a national thing. Now they reversed that. And it's not because these people are pro-life. It's not because they give a fuck. They really don't. You don't think these people have had abortions and shit? Of course they have. Of course they have, man. The amount of people and the amount of reasons why people would have abortions, I know it's a touchy subject, man, but like I went to high school and I saw kids having kids. I'm talking about, I've seen 9-year-olds pregnant. I've seen 12, 13-year-olds pregnant. I've known kids that they found out that their older sister is actually their mom, and who they thought was their mom is their grandma. You know, I've seen what happens to like, it's fucked up when kids have kids. It's a fucked up thing, man. And sometimes people are raped and this happens. Sometimes people are young and dumb. Sometimes there's so many things. And a lot of times, a lot of things happen out of wedlock, right? Like, you're messing around with someone, but this isn't someone you want to have kids with. And abortion is an option, right? So there's so many things, like the condom broke, plan B didn't work, and then now they're pregnant and abortion is an option. Now, me being me, I'm gonna say I support abortion. And you're gonna ask, obviously, like, what do you mean you support abortion? Well, it depends. It all depends. Now, I'll throw it out to you like this way, okay? Do you think some teenager with his hormones raging, watching some porno, ejaculating in the tissue is the murder of millions of people? Do you think him doing that, just masturbation, do you think that's murder of millions of people? And if so, do you think that, like, let's say he's getting a blowjob and that person swallows, is that cannibalism? No, it's not, right? So do you think plan B is murder? Is this murder of a potential human being? Probably not, right? Like plan B, like second date, probably not. So do you think aborting 1 day before delivery of the child is murder? Of course I believe that, right? So there is this, okay, where is it okay and where is it not okay? Obviously, in the later stages of pregnancy, of course it's fucking murder. Of course it's murder. And you still have to ask the question, what happens in the event of, like, it's 6 months and you find out this baby is just fucked up genetically, everything went wrong. This baby is gonna, like, just suffer horrendously in their lifetime. I don't know the answer to that. I really don't. I would expect for our top physicians to have better answers, right? Now, so when is it okay? So it's like, I think the first, what is it, 2 months, maybe 3, right? Like, that's where the physicians kind of like, okay, man, like things are starting to grow, right? Like, I think after that point, it's questionable. It's serious, and every single day it becomes more and more leaning towards murder. But aborting, let's say plan B doesn't work. Aborting week 1, is that murder? I doubt it, man. Week 2, week 3, week 5, week 7. Like, at what week? You know what I'm saying? There has to be a week. And it's obviously not the same for every single situation, but usually up to 4, like 8 weeks, abortion is like, it's okay. That's not, I don't consider that murder of a potential human being. Possibly, I think it was up to 22 weeks, something like that, right? Two and a half months, something like that. It was up to that point, depending, like 20 to 24 months, months, I'm sorry, 20 to 24 weeks, depending on the situation, was acceptable, I believe. Anything after that, I think now you're like pushing it, and now there's this sadistic evilness to it. But anything prior to that, it's like, I don't know, man. I'm a person that thinks that quality of life is usually more important than life itself. And what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is, like, if you take a look at the animals in the zoo, okay, they don't really have a quality of life. Yeah, they're given food and everything is like, it's not horrific, right? But what if life is going to be horrific? For a lot of these kids that have kids, those kids go through horrific shit, man. Like, they end up just going through the system. They end up going through the system and being incarcerated most of their life. And, you know, that's what happens when kids have kids and raise kids. Could you imagine if, like, a 9-year-old is pregnant and has a kid? Do you think that individual is gonna raise the most civilized human being on the planet? Probably not. Like, you know what I'm saying? Probably fucking not, even with help. So I think quality of life matters, man, especially like if you take into consideration like genetic defects and all these stuff, man. Like yeah, sometimes maybe it's better to abort and retry, you know what I'm saying? Like, the first one had issues, so it is what it is. You can't fault anyone for that. I think that's the best decision for everyone all around. And then just retry and have kids. And I know some people might throw out the argument that, you know, abortion has its own effects and this, but obviously people weigh all that out, you know, and then they make a decision. So yeah, that's my stance on abortion. I take the information that our greatest physicians give us, which is somewhere around 20 to 24 weeks, it's now a potential baby, right? And then it becomes this something else. Now you're talking about a different topic. Now you're talking about murdering unborn children. But like I said, everyone, I'm sure, has to have a stance on like where they think it starts. Because if I say week 1, like a sperm and a egg, 2 cells, and you abort that, is that murder? And if you say yes, I'm gonna look at you pretty fucking questionable, you know. I'm gonna really think you haven't really put any thought into this at all. Because then if you said yes to that, then blowjob is cannibalism. Ejaculation is murder of millions of potential babies. Yeah, your period that you have every month is murder of a potential pregnancy. You know? So yeah, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Peace.